Ready? What's up, folks? Today on Knife Banter, Kurt, what are we talking?
We're talking about fixed blades.
Let's talk knives. All right, folks, we're talking some fixed blades. Now, Kurt and I went dinking around up the canyon.
Yep.
And we took a bunch of knives with us, and we wanted to go camping. It's still winter time and it's still cold.
Way too cold. That's not for me.
I don't mind winter camps. I don't mind cold
Unless
camps.
I'm hunting,
Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting rabbits.
I'm out.
So what we got thinking about was, golly, you know, we both got a little cabin fever. And so we took these knives out playing around. We have some B-roll that we rolled up the canyon where we did some batoning. We did some carving, just some generic basic stuff. A couple of these we chopped with quite a lot. We put these through a lot of baton stuff. You're going to see about 20 seconds of that, but we really beat the tar out of these knives. We really wanted to compare grinds, steels, and knives to see what's up. And we have some fun little facts about some of these fixed blades.
Heck yeah. All right, guys. First knife on the table is the Condor Selknam. Now, this is a really cool knife. It was a lot of fun to play with. You see it, it's big, it's burly, it's got that big wide blade, It's a big old chunk of steel, you know. You got that nice hammered pattern here with that beautiful brush grind. Now, this also has got micarta scales and a coconut opener.
That's what it said, or anything else you want to smash per se. But
if you want to split open a coconut, you got the coconut crusher right there. Here's my question though, is I don't understand this right here. I wonder what that is for. If you guys know, jump down in the comments and tell me what this is for, or what it does. Because in my hand, it kind of just rubs back here a little bit, yeah. It has the bow drill hole here in the micarta handle, which is really cool, and I think it's a great thing to have. This one is a little deep, which makes it a little sharp.
Little hot spot.
A little hot spot. And when you're really gripping the knife, I can feel it here in my fingers and the pads that cover up that bow drill hole. But super cool knife. Let's talk some specs.
super choppy.
Super choppy. Guys, $114 on the website. It's got a 5.3 inch blade length here. It's 9.8 inches overall. We got a drop points, 1075 steel. Now, I was feather sticking. I'd feather sticked with all of the knives.
Yep.
And as I was feather sticking with this, I was not having, it was working. Don't get me wrong. You can feather stick with it, but not as well as some of these other knives. So I immediately started to just baton and chop with this thing, and it worked great for that kind of stuff. But the fine detail work, I'm not sure if it's the, I'm not sure.
The size of the blade. From my experience, the size of the blade for the detail work is going to be a little difficult because you got that 1.5 inch blade.
Yeah.
It's going to be like trying to move stuff around.
Thick boy.
It's a thick boy. 1075 is used in a lot of machetes and choppy style knives.
Oh, okay.
Because you can put an edge right back on it with like filled strop.
Yeah.
So you take off your belt or whatever you're stropping with, or river rock, and it'll take an edge.
It's cool.
But you have to do it often.
It's cool. I rinsed this off in the river. I'm sure we've got some footage of that.
And we should.
And all I did was shove it back in the sheath. There's not an ounce of color on it.
Which is surprising.
Which I was also really surprised. Maybe just the leather absorbed it all up real quick. Now that is one thing I do want to talk about. It's a big beefy knife and it works for what it's purposed for, right? But it also comes with this cool handmade leather sheath, made in El Salvador. You got your ferro rod striker here, which I'm terrible at. We tried a bunch of times. Guys,
I did get it to work. Personally, I would just, now not on this particular knife, but I would just use a knife or get another striker.
right.
That one there was it worked okay. I just found a better strike with different material than that.
I felt like this was a lot harder than
Yeah.
just taking
A little more difficult.
the edge of the back edge of the knife and just psh.
Yeah.
Now it also comes with this cool little pouch. There's nothing in there right now, but I'm sure you could figure out what to put in there. Maybe it's some poetry, maybe it's a sharpening stone, maybe it's a bunch of Skittles.
Maybe it's a lighter.
Maybe a lighter. Hey, you know what? A lighter for when you're like, screw this thing. I'm sure Joe Flowers would be like, dude, I'll teach you that in like 2 seconds.
He would. Absolutely.
What a good guy.
All right, I have the Battle Horse Smoky Mountain Razor.
Ooh-wee.
Now we have two Battle Horse on the table right now, just to show a couple differences. But anyway, real quick with some specs, and we'll talk about it. Battle Horse, again, Smoky Mountain Razor. This runs 180 on the website. Total length of just a hair over 8.5 inches, so 8.6 inches long. The blade is 4 inches with a thickness of 0.15, so 1/8 inch thick, probably close to it. This is 01 steel with the drop point and a Scandi grind on it. The handle length is 4.75 inches, so 4 3/4 inch. Made here in the US. This has some discoloration to it. I didn't do an exact forced patina on this 01, but I did cut grapefruit with it. Like I had 6 grapefruit, cut into a whole bunch of little chunks, left it on there for probably 30 minutes, maybe tops, before I rinsed it. Now, the reason why I did that is because the jury's still out if you should force patina or not. And the other Battle Horse is in 01 as well. And I'm gonna see over time, over the next, I don't know, year of use.
Yeah, what changes?
What changes, if it makes any difference at all. Or this is ugly because it had some stuff on it. I wiped it off, but it kind of came out splotchy as far as a patina. I don't care. Ugly, I mean, look at me. But I don't care about ugly or anything
Dallas,
like
you're
that.
beautiful.
Of course you're a girl dragon, because you're just reeking of feminine beauty.
Oh, thanks, Kurt.
You're
Your
welcome.
beard's beautiful. But anyway, I just wanted to see how it would work compared to a naked 01.
Right.
And what a natural patina. Now, I didn't force this. I just cut some citrus with it to see what that would do just in the bush.
Let's compare the patina to the non-patina.
Now, both of these have been worked pretty hard already.
What a beaut.
What a beaut. And these are virtually the same knife.
Right. Different handle shape though. So
Different
let's show
handle
that.
shape, but the knife itself, the blade and everything is virtually the exact same.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I love it. I love it.
that's the Battle Horse, and that one's next.
So that's the Razor.
This is the Razor.
And this is the Bushcraft. Now, like we said, there's not a whole lot different in these two knives, 01 steel, drop point. The big difference is the handle, and I do want to talk about that for a little bit. Guys, this shape handle, in my personal opinion, it's not as comfortable in my hand. After a lot of use, and I feel like a lot of Bushcraft knives are just kind of this big round, almost like a broomstick.
What can I do anything right?
That's what it's
handle.
called. It's broomstick handle.
Are you serious?
Serious. LT Wright talks about it in a couple of his stuff, but like one of his first knives as a kid had a broomstick handle.
Huh.
And that's what a lot of the Bushcraft people have also kind of leaned toward until we get into the Razor here, where it's a little more contoured, you get a little more purchase and a little more comfort so you don't have fatigue.
Well, so here's my thing. When your hand closes, your pinky, the distance between your pinky compared to your index finger and your pad is a lot shorter distance. And so for my hand to wrap around that broomstick handle, I don't get, I end up squeezing harder with these two fingers of my hand, trying to get a good grip, where this one, naturally, I have more even grip across my fingers.
It feels more even. It puts a little bit of a, not a belly, but a little bit of more handle material there in your middle fingers here for a better purchase. When we're out working on these, I purposely held onto that knife for quite a while, like batoning with it. I was batoning with it, I was feather sticking, I was carving with it, just to see, because there's some of the people on the forums talk about hand fatigue, fatiguing your hand. I did notice a little bit.
I mean, but it's not gonna make or break your day. Maybe if you're using it all day and you haven't been using it every day for a while, like if you're fresh on this knife, you might get a little hand fatigue.
And there's so many
this part.
Oh, absolutely. And there's so many different variables here in what you yourself is going to prefer. I prefer this. That was okay. This was more comfortable.
I agree.
This felt more natural in the hand.
I agree.
And you'll see a few others here on the table that kind of match that too. Anyway.
Anyway, basically the same knife. I asked Dallas to tie on a lanyard on this one because I think the broomstick handle is also kind of difficult to pull out of a sheath, especially if you're pushing it in to get that really good retention. So having that lanyard and being able to pull it out that way and then choke up into position is really nice.
Well, and plus you got a couple feet of paracord. You can always use it for something.
I will say these sheaths I like better than the Condor sheath.
Yeah.
Just simple.
Battle Horse does a fantastic, phenomenal job.
Really cool. $170 on the website, guys. So pretty cool stuff from Battle Horse, which is a great company. Without
further ado, the White River Ursus 45. Getting into some specs. This runs $250 on the website. Overall length is 9.5 inches. The blade is 4.5 inches long. The blade width is just over 1.25 inches, just a smidge over 1.25 inches. Thickness is 0.15 like the Condors, which gives you pretty good strength in this knife. This is CPM S35, so it's not 01, it's not A2 or 3V, which I don't know if I have a 3V on the table. Anyway, it's a drop point, flat grind, but it's kind of reminds me of the Saber grind. Anyway, the handle length is 5 inches. Handle width, I don't know if any of you really care about it, is 1.25 inches, and then just over 3/4 inch thick here. Again, made in the US. This is a micarta grip. This one here is my own personal knife. I bought it because I wanted something camp craft, bushcraft, kind of an all-arounder. When we were up playing around with this thing here did really well. I can't say that I liked it over any of the other ones, but I preferred it, but I think that's a bias. I don't think that's because it did any better. I think it's just a bias on my end.
Well, I mean, when you have the option to buy all these knives and you buy that one, obviously you're gonna like it more.
So this one is gonna get going against this one quite heavy because I'm interested in 01. You hear all the talk about 01. We won't get into that. That's a really long video there, but I'm interested, the S35 versus 01 versus maybe some A2. Anyway, this one here is my own personal, they make a leather sheath for it. I like the Kydex because I don't have to worry about moisture, and it has a little drain hole here in the bottom. And you have, all the strap stuff. You can hook this in 985 different places. Yeah. But I prefer just to hang it off the belt.
I like that too.
Just hang it off the belt. I put a little lanyard, couple feet of paracord on there. Not a huge lanyard guy, but on a fixed blade, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting into lanyards a little more and what the use is.
Right.
Versus just having some weird crap hanging off my knife. That's it.
All right, guys, my next knife is the Tops Bob Brothers of Bushcraft. Now, this thing is actually a really cool knife. There's been a ton of tests. I mean, Tops, these guys are legit bushcraft survival guys.
If you're going to be called the brothers of bushcraft, you better be good at your job.
You better know your stuff. Guys, this one comes in right at $130 on the website. It's 9.8 inches overall. It's 4.6 inch blade. You got really good stock here with the 1095 steel. They do that nice powder coat to help with the corrosion resistance. Scandi grind, obviously, on this one. I do like a few of the details on the handle, so you can pinch up. Got your little recess in there on the scales. Also, this one has a bow drill hole on both sides, and I don't mind that actually. And I don't know if it's just where the placement is, but my pinky goes straight in that. It's like the belly button of the knife.
Like it gave you a little extra hold almost.
Yeah, but unlike the Condor, this one is smooth and it's not as deep, you know. So it's not a hot spot at all.
No, I really did like the Tops.
Comes with a ferro rod on a Kydex sheath. You can strike the rod from here. I honestly had not very much success doing that with that piece, but it is cool. It's a really great knife, guys. Brothers of Bushcraft, made in the USA. You can't go wrong with something like this.
Still see our woodwork going
Oh
on there
yeah.
at the tip.
Oh heck yeah. And I will say this, the stock goes all the way up to the tip, and this thing is a chopper. You guys want to baton some wood? This is a great option.
100%.
Put that thing on there, just whack that. We were hitting just that tip through some logs. It's a really good knife.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, I like that one.
I really enjoyed the Tops. Thought it was great. Moving on, LT Wright. This is the Larry Roberts version, or Genesis. We'll say Genesis, LT Wright Genesis. The Larry Roberts. So Larry Roberts was on Alone season 1 and 5, 2 and 5. Anyway, he's on two different ones. Yeah. Anyway, so this is the Genesis. Comes in at $225 on the website. Overall length is 9 inches, 4 1/4 inch blade. Blade thickness is 0.12, so you're looking, again, about 1/4 inch thick, maybe a little bit. Spear point with the Scandi grind. The handle is 4 3/4 inches long. The thickness of that handle, again, is just a bit over 3/4 of an inch.
It's a broomstick style, right?
Yeah, but his tapers, I'll show you in just a second. So, and the weight on this thing is 8.3 inches. 8.3 ounces. So, and what does that mean? God, you know, there's some of them that means a lot. You know, you take, I don't know, a dozen mini tiny peanut butter cups, and that's about what this thing weighs. But I put the weight on it on purpose because some of these feel a little heavier than the other ones do. This one here is fairly light. So LT Wright carries this knife, the Genesis, all the time in A2. So A2 is his preferred steel.
Oh, interesting.
LT Wright's preferred steel is A2. And I also want to see if Sterling can zoom in right there on that spine. You can see the grind. So they do that sharpened spine right there. They do that for ferro rod strikes. Now, we beat the tar out of this knife, and it doesn't even look like it's been used. We beat the tar out of it. So, again, LT Wright talks about A2, how it's one of his favorites. It's got a little better corrosive resistance than 01.
Yep.
It holds an edge a little better than 01. It's not as expensive as 3V and not as hard to sharpen in the bush as 3V.
Right.
So he does his Scandi grinds. His grinds are just amazing. His handles are great. But if you look, I don't know if Sterling can zoom in there, that handle tapers.
Yeah.
So I really found with the kind of, this is going to sound weird, the bulbous end, if you will. Relax. I don't know what else term to use. The more flared out handle here, it really fits the old hand. The bulbous handle.
The bulbous end.
Bulbous end.
I like that. Okay.
End.
Yeah.
And then you got
going. Now you got me giggling.
Exactly. And you got your pinch points here, so if you need to choke up, or if you need to do some fine work, it kind of just fits in your hand. I find my fingers just set right there in that pinch point. I started carving a spoon with this one in the White River, and then moved to the ESEE, and then moved on to something else, set it aside, went back to this. Just to carve a spoon. I didn't get the spoon finished. You won't see footage of that. I was just dinking around, sitting around a campfire, because why not? Right. Anyway, and the sheath. So that's something else I want to talk about. So the sheath, and all this is US made. You have your ferro rod or fire stick holder here. You have, your little holes. You can strap it to your leg, tie some more gear, tie it onto a pack, whatever. The dangler. LT talks about how he likes the dangler, so when he gets in his Jeep or whatever, it moves around. You can move it out of the way.
You can lay it out flat with your thigh.
You can lay it out one way or the other. Also, you can unscrew it here. If you can see the screw in there, you can unscrew that and then use just this on your belt.
Belt loop.
This for wintertime or whatever.
Wearing a jacket.
Wearing a jacket. This here you could use in the summertime or if you're in the desert or something. I thought that was kind of a neat little...
Yeah, it's cool.
Little detail, and he pays attention to details. His handles, they're definitely one to be rivaled. Bark River, which is another one I didn't get, is a Bravo 1. I wanted a Bravo 1 in 3D. That's why we don't have it on the table. But anyway, Bark River.
That knife, this knife right here was hands down my favorite knife to do a feather stick with. I'm not kidding. Holy, talk about cutting pine like butter.
Like butter.
It was crazy.
I loved it.
Really good, really nice.
And we're going to be using these. These are going to be used in some other videos throughout the year. Kurt and I are going to go camping. We're going to build a shelter. We're going to really we put them through their paces already. We're going to take some sharpening stones with us, and we're really going to work on these. Maybe some field sharpening just with the river rock. See how
I like that.
See how it does. Anyway,
I'll show you how to mess up an edge with a river rock. All right, guys, my last knife over here is the Fallkniven, and this is the S1 Pro. Comes in at 350 bucks. We have used this one in multiple videos now. This thing is a beast. Now, the steel that they use is very interesting. It's Lamcos steel. So Dallas, tell us about Lamcos.
So Lamcos is laminated cobalt. I'm trying to think exactly. Laminated with a cobalt special as the center. So they use a 420J outer casing, if you will, for strength and corrosive resistance. And then the lamination, you can see the line in there for the edge, and the core is out of the cobalt steel to hold an edge and be able for edge retention, corrosive resistance, that kind of thing. So that's why they went with Lamcos. They also have a Lam VG10. And a couple different other variants of it, but this one here particularly is the Lamcos. That's what it's called. I love that knife.
Dude, this knife is so awesome. All right, let's talk quick specs. This is 9 3/4 inches overall length. It's got a just over a 5-inch blade. The stock on this is real nice, coming in at almost a 1/4 inch. So you get a lot of stock with that laminated steel. You get this nice rubberized handle with this texture. Now, good contour to the handle. You got your little hammer or whatever you want to use it for.
Bulbous.
A bulbous end. Your bulbous end. Down here at the end of the handle, lanyard hole. I will say, this is a great knife, but if you're doing a lot of this, that rubberized grip, if you don't have gloves on, you can tear your hands up.
And that's something else too, wearing gloves while we're up there, because honestly, I don't ever usually wear gloves unless I'm working with something that I need gloves on for.
Right.
Usually when I'm out in the field, I don't wear gloves, but I was wearing some gloves. That one did really good. I like the weight of it. That thing's a little beefy.
Oh yeah. It's got the weight in the blade, which makes it nice for chopping, but man, after a while chopping, dude, it was a little hot on the inside of my thumb. Let's be honest, I'm a keyboard warrior. I work at a desk and make videos. I'm not out doing like
chopping a tree
heavy
down.
like labor, like heavy work with my hands every day. So yeah, they're a little soft, but this is a really cool knife.
We had this in another video when I first started doing videos here at Blade HQ, and I love this knife, and I still love that knife.
Really cool stuff. Fallkniven does a great job. If you guys think I'm pronouncing that wrong, fight me. It's totally Fallkniven. Kind of like Moranive.
So Moranive, when I was at SHOT Show, the guy from Mora actually said it's Moranive.
Yeah.
That's the company, because Mora is the region and Neve is the knife. Where it used to be called Moranive. I used to call it something else. You can go watch that video. I'm a redneck from Utah. What do you want from me? But yeah, so Fallkniven S1 Pro.
Such a good knife.
Dude, if they have Pro in the name, that thing dang well better be Pro.
Right, exactly.
That's why they upped their game with the laminated steels.
Yeah. Really great knife from Fallkniven. That's all I got over here. What do you got?
Kurt, I have the ESEE 3. I mean, what would a fixed blade video be without an ESEE? We featured many different ESEEs. Let's talk about specs and then we'll get right into this. So this here's the ESEE 3, $130. Overall length is 8.1 inches. Overall length from tip to tip. I'm not including the lanyard, of course. Blade length is 3.8 inches long. So it's not as big as some of the others. It's about an inch shorter than all the rest of them.
Yeah.
Thickness, 0.13. You have this drop point blade. This is S35. I'll go into that in just 1 second. The handle is 4.3 inches long. I put a lanyard on the end of it because I've been kind of getting into the snake knots and use for paracord while I'm out, which I usually carry, but I thought, why not? With this G10, made in the US, this knife here weighs 6 ounces. So
it's definitely slimmer stock, lighter weight,
it's got
less blade length.
Full flat grind. You got your full flat grind with a little shorter blade stock. You got a finger choil out here for a little more detailed work. And the sheath, let's talk about that for 5 seconds. It's got your clip. You can turn it and rotate it and clip it on your belt. You can clip it on a pack. I carry this one frequently. And I beat the tar out of this, and it doesn't even look like it's taken anything. I use it at home. I have not put an edge on it yet.
Yeah.
So we took it out, and we did a little batoning and carving with it. Shane from ESEE, he challenged me on the ESEE knives. He's like, yeah, go put them to work. Let me know. Let me know if you kill it. I haven't killed it yet. However, ESEE broke one of these while doing a baton. The guy who was doing it, he hits it. Anyway, it broke one of these S35s, and he talks about the difference between S35 and 1095, because there is that argument.
Right.
We won't go into too much detail on that. That's for a different video again, but I'll just say either one, an S35 or 1095 with that coating is going to do you good. This thing here took some abuse. You can feel it a little bit on the edge, on the spine here. It took a little bit of abuse, but you know, this thing kept ticking. Again, it's not as thick as stock, maybe not as durable as the other ones might be, heavier stock. Yeah. But this one here, I really like the ESEE. I like everything ESEE because they do such a fabulous job.
Okay, so here's the question for me. What knife would you take from the table?
So again, this might be my bias, but I would take the White River. The reason being, for me, you've got a flat grind, but you also have, it's like a saber grind. You know, you got this thicker spine here and it goes down. I mean, it comes down to right about here. So your tip is just a tiny bit weak, maybe compared to the others. But this is a jack of all trades. It strikes a ferro rod like I've never seen. The Genesis is the only other one that I've struck the ferro rod with that throws a good spark as this does.
I'm actually really surprised he hasn't done it yet on camera, because he's been doing it all morning. And after the carpet starts to smoke.
Yeah, I probably should. So, but here's the problem though. Which one is the best? It's your choice. Whatever you're buying, that's your choice. What fits your hands, what fits your style. the Genesis, the Razor, the Battle Horse Razor. Oh my gosh, fabulous!
Great knife.
I loved them. The tops, the Fallkniven. I'm gonna have 40 knives on me when I go camping now. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Because Dallas is obsessed.
Yes.
He has got a fixed blade fascination. It's amazing.
What one would you take?
I would take the Genesis. I would take the Genesis because it's just got that nice traditional leather sheath. I would put a lanyard on it because of the bulbous end. No, I would put a lanyard on it because of the broomstick style handle, just like over here with the Battle Horse. This in my hand, doing work with it was just butter.
Dude, oh, see, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Which one would you choose? Gosh dang it!
Well, like, dude, I was putting this to work. That edge is perfect. There's no nicks, rolls, anything.
And that's the A2. I'm very curious to see how that holds up against the 01.
The Genesis.
The Genesis.
The Genesis is
There
what
it
I
is.
would take. Because Dallas already took the wet ribbon.
You could have it too,
Okay.
but not really.
Okay.
Well,
Sweet.
That's all we got for you, folks. Let us know in the comments. I know there's a 487 million different fixed blade knives. Kurt and I just got a little cabin fever and wanted to go play around.
Heck yeah,
and got us into camping mode.
We wanted to chop some stuff.
I'm gonna chop some stuff, and we're not done chopping. We're gonna
No.
go to more chopping.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all we got, folks. Welcome to the end screen, folks. Like, subscribe, tell us in the comments what you thought. Give us your opinions on these fixed blades and others, and we'll catch you on the next one.